Right, we're live. I'm live, but it's just me. Yes, sir. No one is here yet. I hope somebody gets here. I want to talk to myself. What up, Bruce? Father Bruce? Na nakabidon last weekend. How are you, man? Let's go. If anyone else is here, please say so. Yeah, it's a tiring life. It's a really tiring life. I feel ya. Just me, Oos, day one-ish. What's up, France? Jasper is in the chat. What up, Julian? It's just me. Spent the first... Oh yeah, happy birthday, Julian. Nga pala. Batiin natin si Julian na happy birthday. Bruce, is it a naughty photo set? Kinda want to spend on her. Just to see what it's like. Bagong fixation. Happy DexCon week, guys. I'll be seeing, for those who will be watching either Graveyard Shift or Jam of the Joshis, I will not be wrestling, despite me being a part of DexCon. I'm just gonna be commentating the show. Hindi ko pa alam paano namin ko-commentate ng Graveyard Shift because it's gonna be a blacklight show, but I will try. Sunny and I will try. What up, Jeff? Okay, she gave away a clean. Oo nga naman, baka naman may manalong bata. Diba? Willing ka mong gumastos ng $499.99 for her all-access VIP. It's one way to make a living. Yeah, I was supposed to be a Joshi, but I'm not a Joshi. We're not gonna turn this into a live stream of we're not gonna turn this into a live stream of Unmasked. As much as I want to and share with you guys. But that's A-Bill dito. It's just me. So sorry, Jeff. I mean, you're gonna miss a nice weekend. Yeah. Of all the weekends to miss, no. Sayang. It's okay. We'll be there. We'll likely have a November show for Puso. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Beyonce, for allowing us... For bringing back my internet. Yeah. Well, we're likely going to have a November show for Puso kasi we need to have the finals of the Pusong Pinoy Wrestling Championship Tournament. So that has to happen before the year ends. And what better way to do it than with, a show to close out the year, if you will. Have you thanked Beyonce today, friends? I hope it's your Thursday. Hi, Ninang Abby. Just me. Oh, I always use slang, you know. I like using slang, even though the more time passes, the more dated it gets me. Anyways, I'm gonna shut up.
I'm the best wrestler in the world. My name is Collar Cash Money Cannon.
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
What do we want to talk about?
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Because mommy is always on top.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
I'm home.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
To say his name.
Name and he appeared.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov.
It's LA Knight's game. Yeah.
My name is Colin Cash Money Cannon.
She's on me, bitch.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
You have a father, but your father's dead.
G'day everyone, TMDK Sniper of the Skies, Robbie Eagles here.
Melted
And you're listening.
And you're listening
to the Wrestling Podcast.
And you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
to the Wrestling Podcast.
Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
You're listening to the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
I'm still not used to our new OBB, Jasper. Although it's mostly because I've been away for nearly a month. So, hello, you are now listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast for the very first time in live stream history. It is me, just me, your boy Ro, on a solo flight, living out his solo DJ dreams. It's just me and Jasper, really. Jasper's behind the scenes here, but I didn't ask him to come on because we found out relatively late that none of the other guys could make it to the show tonight. So, because I just got my internet back the other day, after not having it last week, I hindi pwedeng makancel yung stream natin. And I've done this before. I am a veteran of podcasting. I've done this, I've talked about wrestling by myself, probably with Abiel, if you listen to the Unmasked. But, yun. We'll be talking about wrestling today. And hello, guys. Hello. Emil Nate is here joining me from the hospital, I believe, accompanying his father. He's in the chat. If you guys want to talk to him, he's really there. He'll be my co-host from the wings, from the shadows, diba? Maraming salamat, Beyonce, for bringing my internet back, because it was a very painful and expensive 7 days without internet, or almost 7 days without internet. So how is everyone doing? I hope that you're having a great Thursday. It's been raining outside. It's been a little hot. It's been, it's been a week, as we'd like to say on the Unmasked podcast. But because I am solo right now, I want you guys to comment as much as you can here in the chat, and then we'll read out your comments, and it'll be like I'm talking to you guys, diba? So, para tayo nag-usap. So I know I'm not alone here when I'm talking to you guys, but we'll keep our banter going, and you give me your thoughts. I'll read out your thoughts, and it's gonna be like you're part of the show, especially Emil Nate, who is in the chat. Right, let's get to some housekeeping, Jasper. Let's move on to our first Happy Rowan noises. WWE on Blast TV. It is October. Raw is back to 2 hours, but it's going to be a few more months until we get it on Netflix. So until then, WWE main television shows, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, will be are right now on Blast TV, www.blasttv.ph. It is free for Converge and Globe at Home subscribers, and it's 179 pesos for those who are not subscribed to those internet plans. And everything is there. NBA is going to be there. WNBA is there. NFL is there. A whole bunch of other TV shows and movies are there. I know a lot of people are starting to discover some nice content to watch there. And a lot of good stuff that you can find there for free. Watch now, pay $0 while it's still available. Right. Before we move on to the next point, I forgot to talk about the Patreon program, patreon.com/wrestling podcast or ganknow.com/wrestling2xpod. Guys, if you like what we do here on the podcast, if you like the weekly streams, if you like our events, you like our pasabays, you like our content on social media, please do consider supporting us on the Wrestling Podcast for as low as $5 or 275 pesos thereabouts. It's just a nice way to make us feel that you love us and you appreciate what we do for the wrestling community here in the Philippines. Syempre, you get access to our Discord community where we talk, where we've formed quite a bit of a bond here among other people, especially for those who need guidance, need support. Maraming nangyayari on our Discord. So for the most part, if you want to make some new friends, if you want to find some fellow wrestling fans to talk, not just wrestling, but also life, TV shows, movies, video games, sneakers, fashion, music, it's all there. And then, syempre, you also get preferential rates on our pasabays. You also get special table service, if you will, sa events namin. And which we'll talk about in a bit. All for the low price of $5 or 275 pesos there. Yon. Oh nga, Joseph. I mean, you are, ghost stories as well. Joseph is an avid patron or customer of our pasabay. So you might want to sign up to get, a slightly better deal on your merch when we do our next run, probably on Black Friday. Malapit na. Marami na nagtatanong about when the next pasabay run's gonna be, but guys, let's wait for Black Friday kasi medyo naghihinga yung aming credit card. So anything that you want us to buy on WWE Shop AEW, Pro Wrestling Tees, Roots of Fight, wherever our credit cards are accepted and can be shipped from, we can do that for you guys. So yun. Again, patreon.com/wrestling podcast or gank now, ganknow.com/wrestling 2XPOD. Yeah. Again, if you please do think about supporting us. Right, let's move on, Jasper. Next one. What's the next? Ayun. So you might have heard it. You might have heard the rumblings, but we are doing another quiz night. Oh, may vibes, may spooky vibes. We are doing, in partnership with Childman, we are doing a Halloween quiz night over on Hobby Stadium in a couple of weeks. October 25th, Friday, 7 p.m. We will be giving away prizes from WWE Shop. So legit yan, from our pasabays yan. We made sure to buy all of that good stuff for you just so you can have authentic merch. Regular tickets are 500 pesos. If you are a WWP patron, it's only 350 pesos. Each ticket comes with one free plate of Hobby Stadium's fried chicken skin, which is super, super yummy. Super delicious. So, guys, kung wala kayong gagawin on October 25, if you guys want to hang out, you want to dress up, you want to dress up as your favorite wrestler or wrestling personality, you want to bring belts, pwede mag-belt, pwede magdala ng belt sa Hobby Stadium. Go bookmark yun na. Save the date. Block it off. October 25, Friday, 7 p.m. at Hobby Stadium, New Manila, Quezon City, Doña Hemedy Street, corner E. Rodriguez Street. Yun, sabi ni Emil Nate. Let's put it up, Jasper. What Emil said. You are encouraged to cosplay. For once, you can namin aawayin if you decide to cosplay as your favorite pro wrestler or pro wrestling personality. Right? We hope to see you there. We'll be promoting it. We'll be promoting it as much as we can until then. Right. What's next, Jasper? What's next on our now? Yun! Okay, so one more thing to promote. Ang dami namin para promote. Sorry. This is the best time to promote kasi SmackDown live streams on Saturday morning over at playback.tv. The Navs Effect. So it's going to be myself and Emil Nate doing a watch party of SmackDown. So this week, it's going to be Roman Reigns and a Women's Tag Team Championship match featuring the champions defending against the Metaphor, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. Right, that's it. Let's move on to the talk before people tune us out. The first thing I want to talk about is from the media scrum. Yeah, tama yan, Jasper. From the media scrum nung Bad Blood. So the guys didn't talk about it nung Weekend Reacts, but I did want to touch on this because it is a rather interesting point that Triple H brought up, or was brought up with Triple H. So nung Bad Blood media scrum, somebody asked him because yun nga, if you hang around social media a lot, if you hang around wrestling Twitter a lot, you might have already read accusations that Triple H may be a little racist. You know, I don't believe that, but there is a lack of black representation on WWE premium live event cards and the championships. Even though, you know, our women's tag team champions are black. So somebody asked him about that, and this is what he said. I see that everybody gets the opportunity. I don't see the difference in anybody. I don't see the color. I don't see the nationality or any of that. I just see talent. I don't see the difference between men and women. I see talent. We tell stories with those talent, how they can handle those stories, and how they can represent those stories, and how we can bring those stories forward. I don't keep track of any of that. I do what's relevant and what is best in the storytelling and what's being delivered in the best way, and that's what goes. No different than the men and women who main events whatsoever. Whatever the biggest stories are, that's where we go. So the thing about that is it was a pretty safe answer, pero nobody likes to hear the phrase "I don't see color" in 2024, in the year of our Lord 2024, and for a good reason. Cody once said he doesn't see color because he has a black wife, diba? But then when he said that, his wife Brandy told him that if you don't see color, you don't see my struggles, you don't see my experiences, you don't see my life, right? While I don't agree that there is a lack of black representation, I just think that I think Triple H is correct in the fact that there are opportunities, and it just so happens that more white guys or Samoans, as you will, have been taking them. It's just a matter of that's not what I would have said. Like no, Emil says he can see people violently reacting because they just read the headline. Because that's what he really said. He really did say those words. He did say the words, "I don't see color," and that's the worst thing you can say. Because even if you mean well that you don't see color, even if that means well, it's still may point pa rin, okay, you don't see what's happening with black people or whatever, Asian people, any other kind of a person of color, minorities. I just would have, if I were their PR team, I would have prepared them. We do something called writing up red flag questions. I would have prepared him for that eventuality and saying that, avoid saying "I don't see color." You can say all the other stuff, which is true, is correct. Just don't say "I don't see color," because that's one of the wrongest things you can say. It's weird. I would have pointed them. I would have told him to point to the fact that Roman Reigns is a person of color, The Rock is a person of color, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill are people of color, like Nia Jax is a person of color, diba? I would have told him to mention those examples because those are correct and legitimate examples. Just don't say "I don't see color." Yeah. Jeff says people are just bitter that you dropped the ball on Hurt Business. It's kind of true, yes. It doesn't help that MVP stoked that fire. Hey, John. Yeah, I'm a one-man band right now. It doesn't help that MVP stoked that flame. It's just so, talagang, I just, biggest phrase to avoid. Do not say you don't see color. That goes for everyone listening to this and watching this right now. Right, let's move on, Jasper. Right. So this week, the episode of Monday Night Raw was the first 2-hour episode of Raw since 2012. So it's been 12 years since we've had a 2-hour episode of Raw. And for me, I don't know if you guys can notice this, but halata yung difference right away. If you watch SmackDown week to week and see how they book the show and see how they allocate minutes for wrestling, you would notice that that's exactly what they did here on this episode of Raw. So yung first segment where CM Punk came out first, and then Seth Rollins came out as CM Punk was exiting, and then Jey Uso came out as Rollins was exiting. That's them trying to manage their time. And even though even though it resulted in a dip in the in-ring quality, because you don't get as much in-ring minutes, for the wrestling, it's still it's still an experience that I prefer. I say, I don't have to sit here for 2 hours, for 2 whole hours. For those who don't know, I say, a 3-hour episode of Raw on TV equates to 2 hours of broadcast if you cut out all the commercials. Yeah. So I would rather sit here for 1 hour and 20 minutes without the commercials, and have it be over in an hour and a half. Yeah. If you watch live, if you watch any of the shows live, maraming commercials talaga. And that's how they, that's how they get to pay the bills, right? But it's just the way it is. But at least it's over really quick, At least there are days, there are times, there are moments, there are shows where it's way more preferable to just go and have a commercial-free block of time. But week to week, it's still a lot better to just sit there and have it be over in 2 hours live, or 1.5 hours without commercials. Emil says, parang sobrang bilis sa pacing. So many damn commercial breaks. Yeah, something we get used to. Julian says, decent episode overall. The pacing was just off. Yeah. Doc G says, nakakabitin. Yeah, ganun talaga. Julian says, Sammy and Gunther, which we'll talk about next, had more time for commercials than the actual match time. Yeah, kind of. Hindi naman more commercials. I would say that around almost 25% of its runtime was devoted to commercials. Yeah. Emil says the one positive about it is that we don't get the same storylines each week. We're going to have a rotation. That's true. Yeah. It's refreshing to not see the Judgment Day for once. Yeah, that's right. I did kind of miss them, but I do realize it's been too much Judgment Day for a while now. Yeah. All right, let's move on. We mentioned it already, so let's move on, Jasper. Gunther retains, so he's the one going to Saudi for the Saudi Bowl. So for those who missed Bad Blood, Triple H announced and revealed the Crown Jewel Championship, and this championship will be contested by the 2 top champions. So mas may nakakaangat a championship sa Crown Jewel. So this is now the WWE's version of the Super Bowl. No, it's the Super Bowl, Emil, because we have 2 conference champions going at it. So yeah, it's not gonna be Sammy versus Cody. I did like how Sammy wanted to talk to Cody about Kevin Owens' behavior. I like that wrinkle. Pero obviously when they dropped the graphic for Crown Jewel, the poster for Crown Jewel, I think it was pretty obvious someone that it was going to be Gunther versus Cody, right? I mean, I'm not quite sure. Although it would be nice, I think, for Saudi to have a bit of a hometown, kumbaga, quote unquote, hometown hero in Sami Zayn for the Muslim community. But Shepard, we do need a heel. We do need a heel, and it has to be. It's gonna be Cody. Right. That's it for that particular bit. Before we move on to NXT, let's hear from our fellow podcast on the Pod Network. All right, before we move on to NXT, Jeff has a question. Saudi Cup pays the bills, but do many people really care about the Crown Jewel Championship? Probably not. But it is what it is. Although it's still, we got time. We got a few weeks. And it's still possible to make them care, to make people care about it. Gunther has been a menace lately, so I think pwede pa naman. It's just that it is going to be a hard sell because it's a Saudi show and only the Saudis really care about it. So we'll see. Bahala na. Right, so we move on to NXT. Tony D'Angelo is your new North American champion. So it was a hell of a match between Tony D and Obafemi. And what a hard-hitting match that was. Parang the entire back half of this week's episode of NXT was really big. I am not quite sure that Tony D. I'm not all in on Tony D being the guy. I did like yung arc niya about being scared of Obafemi, but I don't know. Emil called it. Let's put that up here. He did call it last week. I did hear that when he was talking about it with Stan. But I don't know, man. I'm not all in with this. Like, I like Obafemi a lot. And that doesn't help yung issues with Triple H about black representation, man. That doesn't help him at all. The only way that I like this, I think, is if this means Obafemi is going up to the main roster and he'll go crazy on everyone. Like, replace the Omos experiment with Obafemi. Yun lang ang reason na magugustuhan ko. Obafemi doesn't need to be NXT champion. Let's put him on the main roster. Carlos says at least a roll-up siya na natalo. Yeah, it was interesting decision to have him, be lucky, to have Tony D be lucky. But at the same time, if you have Obafemi go down to a finisher, it kind of doesn't look as good for him, diba? Kasi Obafemi is still a smaller guy, so you get finishes like that with a lucky shot, and it's any given Sunday thing. So it's better than it's better than expected, I think. But I'm not all in on the Obafemi thing. Right, next, Jasper's put it up. Stephanie Vaquer está aquí. She's here. She's finally made her TV debut. She's looking hot. She's helping Julia against Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. That's why Cora Jade was also brought in. But it's going to be a 4-way. Again, I'm still not as familiar with Stephanie Vaquer as I should be. But this makes the NXT women's division the deepest it could be, I think. So I think this brings more eyes to the NXT women's division. La primera mami, as Glandale says. I think she brings a lot of that step on me energy that Rhea brought. So it's going to be a fun thing to keep an eye on moving forward. I think at this point, the NXT Women's Championship division, especially with the, Iger's right. With Delta's impending arrival, the NXT Women's division is a lot deeper than the NXT championship scene. Like between Trick Williams and Ethan Page, parang mas angat na yung NXT Women's division because they've got a lot of huge depth from the indie scene. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. What do you guys think? Carlos says, stack talaga ang women's division ng NXT. Daming super talented in chicks. Yeah, if you guys heard yung interview ni Shawn Michaels with the Ringer Wrestling Pod earlier this week, he says that he doesn't know what an Instagram Explore page is, but what matters is you bring attention to the division with looks, as much as it kind of pains to admit pretty privilege is real, and the more eyes you bring to the product with your appearance, with your aesthetic, with your looks, the better it is for everyone involved. So that's the sad truth of the business. It is a looks-based thing. And as much as I don't want to reduce anyone, whether you're a woman or a man, I don't want to reduce you to your looks. That is the first thing you see. Diba? Kasi you look, you see the fans, the outsiders looking at Pinoy wrestling, and the first thing they'll comment on is the look. So same thing here. Like before you see the wrestling skill, you see how a person looks, whether they're fit, whether they're in shape, whether they're good looking, whether they're hot, and that's what it is. It is what it is, guys. Yon. Anything? NXT also saw. It's not here on our It's not here on our deck here, but NXT also saw Fractum defend their championships against A-Town Down Under. They lost again. And they also teased yung breakup once more in front of Randy Orton. And I don't know when that's gonna happen. It's been the longest slow burn breakup that we've seen on NXT right now. Speaking of Randy Orton and Javon Evans, what a match, guys! Randy Orton. A lot of people are pointing out that Randy Orton was a class act for telling Javon Evans, oh, okay lang yan, you messed up the RKO spot a little bit, but it's fine. People are right to point out that had it been like 15 years ago, 19 or something around that time, Randy Orton would have called him stupid, stupid. So yeah, but that was a hell of a match. I don't think it would have been the greatest RKO of all time. I think the Shooting Star Press RKO was still a lot better, but it would have been up there, I think. Ager is right. Good boy na siya. Randy Orton matured. It's great to see like that. A hothead like Orton could grow up to be more graceful. More understanding of what the younger wrestlers go through right now. Like, one would have hoped that. I think Kofi Kingston got to have that full circle moment with him when he feuded all those years ago. Yeah, I'm sure. No, the thing is, I'm sure they practiced the move behind the scenes, backstage. But you only get one chance to do it right on the match itself, and sa kasamaang palad, hindi mo bre, and it is what it is, guys. Yeah. Let's move on to NXT to AEW. But before we do that, let's hear again. Let's take another break and hear from our fellow podcast on the Pod Network once more. Okay, it's a huge weekend for AEW kasi kasabay ng DexCon weekend is WrestleDream happening on Sunday Manila time. We don't have a live party for it. We don't have a live stream, pero if you can catch it wherever you want to catch it, it looks to be a fun card. But before that, AEW came out with some news, some very important contract news that was announced on Dynamite's Title Tuesday. So Jasper, let's put it up. Daniel Garcia finally puts an end to the speculation surrounding his contract status and announces that he has re-signed with AEW. So he is still All Elite. So this is big. A lot of people have been speculating about him going to WWE, whether WWE wants him or not. I think, and then he basically goes and says that, he's the best. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and AEW's where the best wrestle, so he'll stay in AEW. And okay lang din. Honestly, it doesn't quite make a big difference where you go at this point. I think both companies are really, really stacked. Like they are swimming with talent. Whether you go to WWE or you go to AEW, and whether no matter where Daniel Garcia chose to go, he would have to fight his way up. And Emil's right. Now can TK push the F out of him? I think TK owes him as much. Kasi if you really valued a guy like Daniel Garcia enough to make him want to stay with you, the least you can do is give him a push, diba? Like he has already proven his value as a guy who can go in the ring, who can command attention of crowd, get the crowd to be on his side, command their emotions, make the crowd feel for him in the MJF feud. So I think Tony Khan was lucky that Daniel Garcia didn't see himself being in WWE. Diba? I don't know. I don't know what that means moving forward for him. I can't predict what Tony Khan's about to do, but I do hope that he finally has the good sense to really give Daniel Garcia what he's been due after how many years toiling away in AEW. Right, let's move on to WrestleDream predictions. The first thing about before we start predicting the whole show is that I don't know about you guys, but a lot of this card outside of the major storylines has been thrown together haphazardly. So maraming na-finalize lang this week on Title Tuesday. I'm sure some shit is gonna be added to Collision and Rampage. Don't know that yet, but knowing Tony Khan, I know that he likes to stack a lot of these things with as many wrestlers as possible. So expect more stuff. But if I were him, again, I would get rid of the non-major stories and do what Triple H is doing. Yes, it's the same, but at least you give more time. WrestleDream. Emil asks, isn't WrestleDream supposed to be an AEW and NJPW collaboration? Last year it was, but now it's not. So I don't know what happened there. I don't understand it as well. Maybe because they're already doing the collab next year around Wrestle Kingdom time. So baka yun. It's weird though, I will admit. So, all right. Let's move really quickly through this card here. The first match, it was a tribute to Antonio Inoki last year, but now it's not. So the first match on the undercard is Hologram versus Attorney the Beast Mortos in a 2 out of 3 falls Lucha Libre match. So 2 out of 3 falls is a common trope in Lucha Libre. It's a common stipulation for Lucha Libre matches. So kaya, just to explain that thing here. The Beast Mortos has been part of AEW for quite a while now, but Hologram is their guy. I think, this is pretty much Tony Khan's Sin Cara. And I think that because Hologram is Tony Khan's big Lucha Libre idea in the vein of Rey Mysterio, in the vein of Sin Cara, I think he's gonna get the win here. Emil Nate says, as much as this is gonna be good, he wishes that this could have just been a Collision match. Yes, a lot of these matches on the WrestleDream card, we wish were just Collision matches, but it is what it is. It is what it is, my friend. Next match. Jasper. The International Championship. Okay, I didn't mean to put this on this early, but it is a triple threat, a three-way rather. Triple threat is is the intellectual property of WWE. So it's a three-way between Will Ospreay, Ricochet, and Konosuke Takeshita. My pick here is Takeshita finally getting his big singles championship in AEW. I think I do recall reading some rumors about how Takeshita has been in line for a big push now, especially with the Don Callis family kind of losing Will Ospreay. So I think the three-way was a way for Takeshita to get the win without sacrificing your Ospreay versus Ricochet matchup. Doc G says, sorry Ospreay, Takeshita Takeshita needs gold. Emil Nate says Takeshita wins and Kyle Fletcher turns on Will Ospreay. God damn. Why? I was very sports entertained by yung breakup segment ni Will Ospreay and Don Callis ng Dynamite Title Tuesday. I thought that was one of the strongest drama segments on the show. Will Ospreay is really good at being the indignant babyface. I like that he brings a lot of babyface fire, and Don Callis was the perfect guy to bounce off of in that scene. A lot of people are talking about, are pulling for Takeshita here. Yeah, I think Takeshita is really criminally underrated here. He's going to get the win here. If he doesn't win, di ko na alam, guys. Di ko na alam talaga. People are going to protest if Takeshita doesn't win here. So, Ricochet, sorry, bro. But I think you're here for the big Will Ospreay matchup. So, that is That is yung purpose niya in this particular signing. Right, next matchup. Darby Allin versus Brody King. So for those who are not part of our Discord, Stan brought up his gripes about the story. So in this week's episode of Dynamite, Darby Allin called out Brody King, and then nagkwento siya about yung history nila together as indie performers, as indie wrestlers, about how Brody King was a family man, or is a family man. He needed to get signed by a big company because he had a baby on the way and stuff like that. And so Stan didn't like that because Brody King was supposed to be presented as a monster from the House of Black, and then all of a sudden he becomes human. Ako naman, I don't mind the lore. It's just that we didn't get the steps necessary to get from monster Brody King from House of Black all the way to human Brody King, who is, Darby Allin's running mate. So that was weird. Apparently there was an open challenge that Darby brought out. And then Brody King answered that open challenge. Ako naman, I didn't like the fact that, after getting his title shot basically stolen from him by Jon Moxley, Darby Allin goes on to do a weird open challenge just so he can wrestle in the Pacific Northwest. So yun, I don't know, man. It feels like a Darby win because Darby usually wins these things, and I don't see any other way here for Brody to win, unless they throw Brody a bone. I guess I hope that happens, but I don't see anything else happening other than Darby winning. Yeah. So Ina says Darby for the win because they have history from the Indies, as they explained. She had a sigh of relief that Brody King accepted the open challenge because they expected Bobby Lashley, and then people are expecting Bobby's gonna feud with Swerve, but Lashley's gonna feud with Swerve. Emil Nate says no offense to Brody King, but going from wrestling Bryan Danielson on Darby's end to wrestling Brody King is a hell of a downgrade. Sige, sasabihin natin yan kay Brody King. Sabi ni Emil Nate, downgrade daw si Brody King. Doc G says Brody is gonna yeet Darby to the audience. That's gonna be fun. I think that's gonna happen. I mean, the Pacific Northwest crowd loves Darby anyway, so I'm sure they're gonna like that. Right, next matchup. A tag team championship. Young Bucks versus Private Party was finalized, I believe, in Rampage or Collision. So this is going to be the tag team championship defense. It isn't much of a story, so I don't know what's going to happen here. Emil Nate says, "Fuck it, give Private Party the win." That's really bold of you to say. I don't think I agree. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that's what's going to happen here. Emil says it's time. Might as well that the Young Bucks put someone over. Carlo asks, why are the Young Bucks still the tag team champions? That's because the Outrunners have not challenged for the championships yet. So Doc G says Private Party wins. I am gonna say that the Young Bucks retain because the Outrunners are gonna be the guys to beat them. The Outrunners are that team. They've seen the rise, the natural organic rise of the Outrunners, and they are saving the big moment for them. They're over like Rover, And syempre, the reason they're still the champions is because, as Emil said, they are the EVPs, and the Young Bucks are because it's the Young Bucks. Yeah. Next, Jasper. A matchup that was announced last week for not much of a reason. I mean, may reason naman, may storyline reason, because Hangman attacked him before a while back. But very few people remember that. It's Hangman Adam Page versus Switchblade Jay White. I don't know what to pick here. My gut tells me that Jay White should win because he just got back from injury. I mean, from being sidelined. But at the same, Hangman just also came off of the big win against Swerve. So I legitimately don't know what I'm gonna pick. Shit, I don't know. Doc G says Jay White for the win. Ina says Switchblade for the win. Emil, what's your pick? Say it now. Carlos says Hangman is hot, and he wins. I kind of agree with that as well, you know. But I don't know. It's a case where, ayun, Emil says Hangman. It's a case where it's really, really going to be hard to predict. Kasi you don't want either guy losing, diba? I don't want either guy losing at any point in this feud. But I am a bigger Hangman fan than I am a Switchblade fan. I haven't been a Jay White fan until recently. So my pick for this is going to be Hangman Adam Page for the win. Because what else are we going to do here? Diba? Yeah. Right, before we move on to the rest of the card, let's take our final break and hear from our fellow podcasts on the Pod Network. May pahabol si Emil Nate. Bold prediction. These two, Hangman and Switchblade, are going to be the C2, if the C2 is coming back this year, they're going to be the C2 finalists, and they'll have one last match at a World's End. Well, sana bumalik yung Continental Classic, diba? Otherwise, otherwise, wala. All right, let's move on to the next matchup, Jasper. TNT Championship, Jack Perry the Scapegoat versus Katsuyori Shibata. This is going to be a low-key banger. The last Jack Perry match was pretty good. Hindi lang masyadong napansin. But it was Bryan Danielson. So if you can have a match like that versus Bryan Danielson, imagine the kind of match he's going to have with Katsuyori Shibata. Emil Nate is so sick of Jack Perry. So Emil, Jack Perry is your solo Sikoa for AEW. What an interesting take. Ako naman, I don't have strong thoughts about Jack Perry. He's just there for me. I don't hate him, but I don't love him either. It's parang none of his work is really grabbing my attention. I mostly probably because I liked him so much more as Jungle Boy. He was such a great babyface as Jungle Boy that I don't feel as much anything for him as Jack Perry. As much as I want Shibata to win, as much as I am a big Shibata fanboy, Jack Perry is the guy. Jack Perry is the guy they're pushing, and you know it's going to be a great match. It's going to be a notch on Jack Perry's bedpost here, and I think he's going to come away with the successful title defense. Shibata's here just to give good matches and have nice bangers with people, with the younger guys, with the younger kids. Emil says Jack Perry does not have the charisma to play a bad guy. Sige, sabihin natin kay Jack Perry yan. Sabi ni Emil Nate, wala ka raw charisma. Julian says Jungle Jack for the win. Ina says Jack Perry retains. But Emil also says Jack Perry retains. Carlos says Jack Perry retains. Yun. Emil's right. This is the Antonio Inoki tribute that Shibata has a big match. Shibata is like one of the last Inoki disciples. And this is going to be the big tribute match. So I actually hope that Jack Perry gets to do a strong style type of match. Right, next matchup. ROH World Championship. Mark Briscoe defends against Chris Jericho, the Learning Tree. And I don't think we're going to get the Nueve here. I don't think we're going to get the Nueve. I don't know what they're really doing with the ROH World Championship, but I don't think Chris Jericho is going to win it. I think it's a safe Mark Briscoe retention. I don't think they want to poke the bear with. I know a lot of people like Carlo want Jericho to retire pahinga na, sabi ni Carlo Elijah. But I think Jericho's gonna piss people off without actually, stealing championships from other people. And I don't think he's the type of guy to take the championship away from Mark Briscoe, especially because it's a Jay Briscoe tribute run. So it's safe to say that this is gonna be a successful Mark Briscoe defense. Julian agrees. Ina agrees. I'm sure Emil agrees as well, unless he has something else to say about it. So let's move on to the next matchup. The Women's World Championship was finalized in a 4-way nung Title Tuesday. Again, a lot of this card was thrown together at the last minute. It's Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale. And I think as much as I love Willow, I'm a big Willow fan. Syempre, Mariah May to. So, Mariah May still has the hot championship run, the hot hand. And it's going to be a fun but easy defense for her. Oh, this is Emil Nate's Women's Dream match. I don't know why, but okay. Bakit Emil Nate? Let's tell them why this is your dream match. I think it's weird that there is no TBS championship match. So we're gonna get a match between Hologram and the Beast Mortos. Pero wala tayong Mercedes Money match. Isn't that the weirdest thing ever? Of all the things that TK could do for a pay-per-view, there is no Mercedes Money match. A lot of people are agreeing that Mariah May is going to win here. Glendale, Doc G, MJ, Logan James from YouTube says Mariah May wins because he believes that Mina Shirakawa is going to come back to beat Mariah May, to be the one to beat Mariah May. That's actually not a bad idea. But I think Mina Shirakawa is going to be in Mariah's corner before that ever happens. So that's going to be a long, long time. Yeah. Emil says both women are his faves in AEW. Carlos says medyo humina si Mercedes, but Mercedes is still the TBS champion, dude. She is still a champion. And it's weird that she doesn't have a championship defense on a pay-per-view, and she is still a big star, dude. So I would not leave that money on the table. That's like this. That's like not thanking Beyonce. That's like the wrestling version of not thanking Beyonce. So that's a weird omission. So I think there might be a last-minute addition to the card, either on Rampage or Collision. So I think that's going to be where the Mercedes Money addition is going to be. Next match, I think the last one. The World Championship. Does Jon Moxley win the championship and retire Bryan Danielson? So they ended Dynamite with a brawl, and it wasn't quite clear who. I mean, Bryan stood tall. So Bryan stood tall. He was celebrating while Wheeler Yuta was fighting for dear life behind him in the ring after being attacked with a hammer. Does this mean that Jon Moxley wins the championship? Does this mean a big reveal of who his higher power is, as Carlo says? Let's put that up. Yung sinabi ni Carlo. Moxley wins. Shane McMahon is all elite. I don't know if you guys talked about this on the show, but the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to believe the Shane McMahon rumors. I forgot that Shane McMahon and Bryan Danielson were co-SmackDown GMs. Jon Moxley was on Team SmackDown with Shane. And it's more than likely, the chance is more than zero, more than 10%, more than 50% that it's going to be Shane McMahon. God damn. And the more I think about it, the more it's crazy that it's going to be, it's going to be a thing that people like. I don't know. I think the holy shit moment of, Shane McMahon, a McMahon joining AEW is too good for TK to pass up. I don't know, man. Shit, man. And the fact that Wrestling Logic, Bryan Danielson stood tall at the end Dynamite, I think he's gonna lose. I think it's more than likely he's gonna lose. Emil says Mox wouldn't say that someone else is in control. That this isn't your company anymore, Tony. If it wasn't Shane. It's gonna be crazy. I think that might be the biggest draw of WrestleDream. Shane McMahon joining joining AEW. So let's read off your let's read off your comments. Emil says Moxley wins and Wheeler Yuta turns on Bryan Danielson. Because he is still part of the Trios champions with Claudio Castagnoli and Pac. Doc G says Shane O'Mac is all elite. Ayer says Vince pala. Ina says Moxley wins and the NWO of AEW starts because Shane is coming. God damn. That'll be the day. MJ says the contract does say McMahon. But it's Vince McMahon. Logan James on YouTube says never say never. Shane showing up at WrestleDream. God damn, man. I don't know. Shit. Sunday morning is going to be wild. It's going to be fucking wild. Carlos says Brian celebrates while nakanate si Yuta. Oh man, that's a good detail. Wheeler Yuta turns heel because his mentor was celebrating while he was dying. Jesus Christ. Kung ako yun, magagalit din ako, diba? Like, the small details are right there. Before we wrap up yung talk about WrestleDream, there's one thing we forgot to put on the deck. And does Swerve Strickland take the offer, the MVP and Shelton Benjamin to join the Hurt Syndicate? So, Swerve has been nililigawan the MVP Swerve Strickland, telling Swerve that, his string of losses was because he has a clown for a manager in Prince Nana. I want to see it happen. I think I don't think Swerve needs it, but I think it's going to be an awesome visual. I want to see Swerve be the guy to anchor MVP's new group. Diba? I'm not quite sure Lashley is going to be that guy. Ina says Bobby Lashley and Swerve Strickland start feuding at WrestleDream. I don't know if Bobby Lashley is going to be a really, really big signing for AEW. I don't know about that. But it's possible. Like, I'm not going to say no to it. It's just that I don't think Bobby Lashley is going to be that guy. I think, I don't know. Do you really want to pit, black on black? Black Icon versus Black Icon? I don't want to do that. I'd rather have all of them work together and run roughshod. But stick it to Triple H. You don't want to have black representation? We're going to do the black representation. We're going to have a big-ass black faction, super faction, with the biggest black names in wrestling. Go crazy all over AEW. Diba? Yun na lang gawin nila. Don't pit them against each other. Just have them join forces. Be the biggest super faction of black wrestlers, of black icons. Yeah, I think Swerve is going to turn on Nana. I think that's going to happen. What if MVP and Lashley are the higher power of Jon Moxley? That'll be the day. That's just going to be the ultimate FU to Triple H. You don't want black guys in power? Moxley is going to answer to a black guy. To two black guys. That will be the day. All right. Carlos says, yes, sunod-sunod na talo ng Swerve. Yeah. I want to see that happen. I want to see a black super group. Right. Thank you guys for joining me on a solo flight. The first ever solo run. I am hungry as hell. I'm about to pass out here. I've been yapping my ass off and I haven't eaten yet. I'm only running on coffee. Diba? But thank you so much for joining me and being here today and being entertained. I hope that you guys had fun with my solo stream. Kaya pala. We've proven na kaya pala. Before we go here, got to get to some plugs. No new episode of Unmasked yet because of my internet problems. We were not able to record. So, bukas pa lang kami record. Or over the weekend or on Monday. So, no new episodes. So I'm sorry if you haven't caught up with season 2 of Unmasked yet. Now is a good time to do that. Unmasked: The Chronicles of Roman Reigns and Data. So go check that out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And syempre, this weekend is DexCon weekend, y'all. Graveyard Shift is happening on Saturday night, and Jam of the Joshis is happening on Sunday night. Yon, may air horn pala kami. Tickets are still available to both shows. All you got to do is go to dexcon.helixpay.ph. Emil, what are you talking about? See you all guys at DexCon. You're not going to be here. You're not going to be here. Don't mislead the people like that. Dexcon.helixpay.ph, dexcon.helixpay.ph, helixpay.ph. Tickets are still available. What? You're not going to be here. You're not going to be here. You just said so. What? What is happening? What is happening, Emil Nate? You're working us. I'm going to have a talk with you backstage. Sige. Tayo magtutuos backstage, Emil Nate. You said you're not going to be here. We specifically asked you if you could cover the show. What the hell are you talking about? Jesus Christ. All right, sige. Yeah, not just me, Julian, but Stan has been worked as well. So, magtutuos tayo, Emil Nate. Right. Thank you so much to the beautiful boys and girls, babyface producer Jasper of the Pod Network, for making the live stream possible and making us sound good, making us sound better than we are. Please don't forget to follow us at Wrestling2X Pod on Twitter and TikTok, and on Gank as well. The Wrestling Podcast on Facebook, at Wrestling Podcast on Threads and Instagram. Go follow us on social media for all the content that you don't have here outside of the podcast, outside of the live streams. Yeah, sorry, Carlo. On Saturday morning, magkakaroon kami. I think we're a go for SmackDown Saturday morning. So, we'll be there. Don't worry about it. We have to get back to you. Yan. For my fellow podcasts, you can follow them at Chino Supersize, at _Stancy, at Monday Night Rowan, NITE, at EML_Meister for Emil. Myself, at Rose War on Twitter, at Shang.Daddy on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. All of the wrestling takes are over there. All the wrestling content is over there as well. Go follow me, please. And, let's all support each other. Okay? Until then, we'll see you next week for our weekend reacts and picks of the week for our audio-only episodes. And in a couple of weeks, we will see you at the Halloween quiz night at Hobby Stadium, Friday, October 25th, 7 p.m. All you got to do is show up, guys. No pre-registration, no nothing. Just show up and we'll pay you there at the door. We'll see you guys at the door. Right? Until then, please stay safe, stay healthy, stay dry. It's wet out there. Do not be a dick. Even though I'm a dick, I'm sorry. Wrestling Podcast out. Right? Peace.